I'm going to a fundraising gala soon, and the theme of the gala is goth. So I want to do some goth makeup. I'll say goth inspired. I don't know a lot about the goth community, but I feel like if I say I'm doing goth makeup and I'm not doing goth makeup, I think they're going to be mad. I have some ideas that I think will work. So let's try them out. I'm once again appearing on the internet with wet hair and no makeup. I'm just gonna keep doing what I've been doing with my eyebrows. That's not super interesting. I meant to do them off camera and now I'm on camera, so I guess I'm doing them. If I felt more confident gluing down my eyebrows, I would do that and then do like a pencil eyebrow, like a very thin eyebrow, because that feels like goth to me. I'm just gonna do my regular brows, which have been, I don't really know how to describe how I've been doing my brows recently. I mean, not that I think it's like super interesting or complex or anything like that. I've been doing like a fluffier brow, but I always feel like whenever I use this gel, I like push them up like that, but that is not normally how I finish them. And this is not to be rude to anybody. I don't feel like I'm as fussy about my eyebrows as a lot of people in the space. They do what they do and I'll be fine. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of like alcohol and clean up around the edges because I tend to get the like eyebrow gel also all over the perimeter of my eyebrows, and then the glue gets kind of gunky. The eyebrow gel gets kind of gunky, and then product doesn't like to sit on it very well. Okay, so there's that. And I'm gonna walk you through like why I'm making some choices. I don't really feel like I'm doing anything spectacular with my brows, which is why I'm not being like, I'm using this brow product specifically for this very reason. One, I don't have a ton of eyebrow products. Two, I'm learning some of my preferences when it comes to eyebrow products. I had a couple of eyebrow gels in PR that I was trying as my eyebrows were growing out, and I didn't mind them, but now that my eyebrows are, you know, fully grown out as like much as they will be, I don't like a tinted brow gel. In fact, I kind of hate them. I would rather use a clear brow gel and then fill them in, is what I'm learning about me. We're always learning about ourselves. So I'm just gonna let that dry for a little bit. Ooh, my fan. I'm just going to take a micro brow pencil. This one's just from Morphe, and just fill them in a little bit. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm gonna just pop a picture up on the screen of the gown I'm wearing. It's kind of like unclear how fancy this is gonna be. The dress I bought, I got it from a company called Unique Vintage. I think that they just are a retailer of the brand of the dress that I bought. It's like kind of really hard to tell how fancy everyone's gonna be, and this is my first time going to this event. A friend of mine had access to half off the tickets, so I said, oh, I'll do that. It wasn't egregiously expensive. This summer, I'm trying to like do more things that I would probably have said no to in the past. Like, I don't know, like as much as I love dressing up and as I love like doing my makeup up and really just having like fun looking cute, sometimes there's like this level of fanciness that I'm just like not willing to participate in because I don't know. Obviously, everyone's accessibility to like garments and stuff is going to be different just based on like where you are and like where you are in life as far as like income goes and stuff. But like the dress I bought was like $100. Well, it was discounted. It was originally $180. I ended up getting on a Memorial Day sale for 40% off, and it was like about $100. So I was like, I'm willing to pay $100 for like a fancy dress. And the dress I bought is something I would wear again to another like fancy evening thing. So I don't do that very often, but like it's not a dress I won't wear again. You know, it's not like so fancy that I think like I like a very nice dinner with a friend if we decided to get really gussied up. Like I would wear it to something like that. I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's at the Mattress Factory, which is a museum in Pittsburgh. And if you're not familiar with it, well, if you're familiar with it, then you kind of understand the vibe, but it's this museum that they do like more eclectic showings of art pieces. The exhibits that they tend to have that are rotating are usually like queer people, like are usually the artists of a lot of their work. So I'm thinking this is gonna be like a lot of cool people. And then I'm like, should I have gone for cooler glamour rather than like glamour? But like I'm kind of loosely going for like Morticia Adams glamour in that concept. But like I'm not saying that's how my makeup is going to turn out. I would say probably like in a real goth world, my skin, I would probably want it to be lighter. Like I would want to paint lighter. I thought about getting a white foundation, like a Kryolan white foundation stick. I then decided, I was like, I won't use that really again. So I was like, I don't want to be like super wasteful. So we're just going to do my skin as usual. And I'm going to try to do some like brightening techniques that will make my skin look a little bit brighter, but not quite white. So we'll see where we land. So as far as primers go for me, we're kind of at the point where it's like just kind of hot all of the time. I don't think my dress is super breathable, which is like something I could have been more considered about, but we were going for goth and I just feel like there's not a lot of like goth summer clothes, like summer breezy event wear, if that makes sense. Like there's not like a lot of that. I feel like when we think about summer, a lot of the time the fabrics we're thinking about are like 100% cotton, which I have no problem with. And then linen. The thing about linen is there's just something about it. Hold on, I'm gonna spray my face. This is the primer I chose. This is the TRIXIE First Base Priming Spray. Of the primers I have, it's the least glowy, and I just feel like goth makeup is like often very matte, and so I want my skin to be matte-ish. Like I don't want to go full-on matte because I think that full-on matte, I don't like the way it looks on my skin. So I'm trying to get like end up with a demi-matte satin finish to my skin. And this is also not super glowy. And it also, I feel like it just makes my makeup last the longest of all my primers. Like it's the one that like is the most like sticky-ish to it. It's not even like super sticky as a primer, but everything I've seen made of linen is ugly. There's very little linen garments with personality. I don't like wearing white. I don't like wearing cream. And so then you have to like go out of your way to find like a black linen or a dark brown linen. And at that point, it's like, there was no point because now it's like an ugly thing. I understand that linen's not supposed to stretch, but I like a little bit of stretch to my garments. My body, the way it's built is that sometimes fat is in one place, and then when I'm sitting or doing something different, that fat moves to a different place. And if I'm wearing linen and there's no give, it's just kind of like, it's just so uncomfortable. I don't like it. And like, I do like an oversized garment situation, which I feel like linen really like lends itself to as like oversized, easy breezy. I don't think I'm built for that look in the summer. I don't mean physically. I think there's a lot of plus size people who do like oversized, gorgeous, but it's like just giving goop, you know? And I just don't want to give goop. You know, that's not where I'm trying to be. That is dried on my, oh, also I put on the black thorn oil as my lip prep, because it was gothy. We're still gonna color correct. I'm gonna use the Exa color corrector. I've still been liking this for covering up my beard area, but here's what's going on right now with my skin. This is my 4th day in a row shaving my full face, but I really wanted to film. I thought about holding off a day. I haven't shaved my face daily for a really long time, and I just think shaving really irritates my skin in a way. My skin doesn't like it. I don't find it super comfortable as an act, and I try to be patient. I try to be patient. I don't put a lot of pressure on it, but then it becomes this thing where it's just like, I cannot get like a super clean, smooth to the skin shave. And then if I put more pressure on, that's when my skin gets irritated, and then I get frustrated while I'm shaving because like I can still feel stubble, feel stubble, feel stubble, feel stubble, feel stubble. And it's just like, well, what am I even doing here? Like what's even the point of this? Anyway, I do also find that I get a closer shave if my hair is like a little bit longer than 24 hours of regrowth. So the gala is at the end of this week, so I wanted to do this video today so that I could like film this and then edit this and have this up, and then that way I have something to post. Which, well, also I wanted to do this video in kind of as a trial for me to see what kind of makeup I would like to do for the event. Oh, I realized I want to do my eyes first and I forgot. You know, one thing I'm always losing is a makeup brush. I just like don't want to shave again for the rest of the week. If any of you also shave your face, I'm not looking for like really recommendations on a technique. I don't think my technique is poor, but if any of you like have an electric razor that gets a really good smooth shave, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I did have a brand offer to send me like a laser hair removal device in PR, but they would only send it like, you know, I would have to do content with it, sight unseen, and I certainly don't want to do that. I might want to put sparkle on my eyes, but I haven't decided if I'm going to put sparkle on my eyes, because I am kind of trying to like roll with like the matte, M-A-T-T-E look, the matte. I'm going to prime them, and I'm going to set them with like a cream powder shadow, and then we'll get to work on like what we're actually doing. And this is to even out the skin tone on my eyelid, which is not something I'm normally bothered by, but like we're doing high glam, and like high glam to me is like kind of the whole purpose is to like cancel everything out and then rebuild. I get more compliments on my makeup out in the world with eyebrows than I did without the eyebrows. but I feel like my makeup, I mean, obviously I like having my eyebrows again, but I feel like I could do more fun things without eyebrows. And like, I went out to dance a couple weekends ago, and that was, I got like so many compliments on my makeup, and I just did a black sparkly smoky eye, but like people were like, oh my god, it's like the perfect smoky eye, and I was like, it wasn't even that hard. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm going to start with an eyeliner, and I'm gonna try to keep everything grayscale on purpose. So it's not all, well, with my eyes, it doesn't really matter. But with the rest of my face, it's not gonna really be meant to look blended into the skin, if that makes sense. Like, it's gonna look like makeup. And like, obviously, we know that makeup looks like makeup. I mean, like, it's supposed to purposely look like makeup. So I'm gonna take my Victoria Beckham Kajal liner in the shade Black. And this is actually not gonna be anything super precise, which is good and on purpose. So I'm gonna take it along the lash line and get real close. That's something I've noticed over time, that I'm like not really good at getting like all the way down the lash line. And I feel like with this look, I definitely wanna make that happen. I'm also not gonna try to like wing out at all. And then I'm gonna take it like up to the crease and above it, because if I don't take it above, it will transfer. My eyelids will transfer or whatever I put on top. So I wanna make sure that the shape is already going above that. And then I'm just gonna blend that out a little. It doesn't have to be like perfectly blended. We're just kind of using it as a base for eyeshadow as well. But it gives like, you know, the eyeshadow then doesn't have to be fully opaque either. If you ever want to do this, like to go above your crease, you kind of have to like relax your eyebrow, which I don't do very often. And then that way you can kind of see what will be technically above the lash line. And then just fill it in from there. Before I get too far away from the black eyeliner, I'm going to tightline with the black eyeliner, and I'm also going to put it into my waterline. And then I'm going to take a black eyeshadow from this Ellis Atlantis palette. I'm going to take the black down here, the shade Obsidian, and I'm going to go essentially like right over the eyeliner, so to deepen out the black eyeliner and give a softer blend on the edge, which, you know, the eyeliner was really not meant to do what I just did with it. So I think it's okay that it doesn't like technically perform like that. And you can see, so this is the eye I have the eyeshadow on, and then this is just the eyeliner. Still very black, but not as black as that. So like if you have a black eyeshadow base, I know that some brands, I think like Melt has a black eyeshadow base, you could use that instead of the eyeliner, you know, especially if that's something you use all the time, you know what you have. And then I do want to make the blend a little bit better. Like, I don't think the blend is bad by any means, but I am going to take like a lighter gray in this palette. I'm going to take the shade Artifact, which is the center one there, go along the edge of the black so it's not so stark. And you can see how the blend is just looking a little smoother on this side than it is on this side. I think that looks pretty slay though. I might go over it with the black like one more time, just not blending all the way to the edge, to make sure we're keeping as much depth as we can. Okay, I'm starting to feel the fantasy a little bit already. Like, look at it. Isn't that something? It's really something, isn't it? The black smoky eye. I've never really done one this deep though, or this matte. As it stands without the rest of the makeup on, I think I might keep it matte. I wasn't sure that I was going to. I might do maybe a sparkly inner corner. We'll see. I haven't gotten there. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the rest of the makeup. And then just to even smooth out the blend even more, I'm going into an even lighter gray shade, the shade Slate. If you are, you know, for some reason following along, it's the second latest one. This will not improve the blend as much as like the last one did, but it's just like a finesse. It's looking a little blue now. Okay, we're gonna go back in with the Obsidian shade again. Not go all the way to the edge, but darken the center again after that blending. I am now having the thought, we could in theory mix a little gray into my foundation to give it just like a little bit of, what's the word I want to use? Just a little bit of what's going on. But I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know. I don't think so. How I did all of that black eyeshadow with no fallout is, if I would have had all the makeup on, it would have been Fallout City. Oh, I guess I already primed my face and we already color corrected my face. We're like zooming right along here. To kind of make it a little bit lighter than my skin tone, I'm going to use this brightening color corrector from Kosas. I'm going to do that under the eye. I'm also going to do a couple dots on the high points of my cheekbones because I'm not going to do like traditional like glittery, sparkly, sheeny highlighter. And it will clean up and be more stark next to the black as well. But the key to wearing black eyeshadow is like you don't want to get any of your complexion brushes accidentally in the shadow because then you'll have black pigment on your brush and then you'll accidentally put it all over your face, which is something I do a lot when I have black on my eyes, especially with like the black eyeliner. I don't know what I'm doing. If I had all the time, money, and skill, I would want to do my makeup like deep. Sorry, something crazy just happened. Just concealer just kind of got everywhere. I'm also gonna put some in the middle of my face because I do want it to be highlighted. Both of my setting powders that I have right now. Oh, I still have, in my declutter bin, I still have the About Face one. The two setting powders that I have right now, both have a slight pink tint to them. And I think that's like fine. Anyway. If I had all the money and time in the world, because this event is happening on a Friday evening, I would want to do my makeup like Detox did for the season 5 finale of RuPaul's Drag Race, and she like was painted in complete grayscale. So cool. I think it's my favorite makeup I've ever seen on RuPaul's Drag Race. And just because it's more of like an attention to detail thing, I don't think like the technique is technically very hard. It's just like impeccably done. Okay, so I'm highlighted, or like kind of underpainting the highlight here. For foundation, I don't have a lot of high coverage foundations. So I do want to use a concealer. I have the one from VIEVE and the one from Ritual de Fille. And the one from VIEVE is in the shade Light 1, and the one from Ritual de Fille is in the shade Shell 111. Shell? Spell 111. I was like, that doesn't seem right. And I'm gonna use whichever one looks brighter in the swatch. I think the VIEVE one will. Ritual de Fille has lighter shades in this, but this shade matches me, but it also doesn't look right in the swatch. VIEVE is on top, Ritual de Fille is on the bottom, so I'm gonna use the VIEVE one. And the reason I'm using a concealer all over my face, that's something I do with a lot of regularity. Like I will use the concealer as like my complexion product, but I will use a lot less of it. But we're gonna like kind of use I will try to do full coverage beat here. So I'm gonna do a lot more than I usually would if I was wearing concealer all over my face. I'm just gonna dot it out here. I almost always forget to put like my complexion product on my mustache area. It's like, it still hasn't kicked in that like I need to put makeup there all the time. And the same thing with like right around my ear. It's like an attention to detail thing that I didn't used to have to pay attention to with the facial hair. And I'm just learning. I'm gonna blend this out and we'll see where we are at. I haven't decided what I'm doing with my hair. I did buy a couple of hair accessories that I would wear anytime, but I think would work for this event specifically. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it in time, but I'm kind of hoping to do a ponytail with like a fancy accessory. Not fancy, but like a fancy looking accessory. I don't want to be hot. I just don't want to be super hot. And the dress is already, it's gonna be hot. I mean, it's weird because it's like kind of sheer and but also like heavy feeling. That's the rub. A lot of the stuff that I like the look of is polyester. You know who I'm feeling a little bit like right now? is John McClane. That was a really bad throwaway attempt at his accent. That's kind of like the vibe. Ooh, I'm using my MAC. He always is using MAC. He's like, I'm using my MAC shade in the shade Stone. If you've never watched a Lord McClane video, if you've never watched a John McClane video, what are you doing here? What do you do? You're denying yourself. I feel like he so rarely uploads anymore. Well, he kind of just didn't upload very frequently to begin with, but he like uploads even less now. You gotta go in the back catalog. It's everything. It's everything. I hope it's still there. Like, I hope he's not removed it. When you come upon him, you're gonna think that I am misgendering him, but he has clarified time and time again that his pronouns are he, him, and he is a man, and we respect that. But he doesn't, you know, look like a traditional masculine figure, and neither do I. So it's not a read. I'm just like letting you know. So we're not doing bronzer, we're only doing contour. And I think this could be an opportunity to try using Concrete from HINDASH. While not super cool toned, a pretty true gray, I think with the way we're like trying to look, this will be a good thing to try. I am gonna put some on my mixing palette, and then I'm gonna take fluffy contour brush. I'm trying new placement of contour. I usually contour higher than you usually do, like you're supposed to, but I also don't like it as low as like where the hollows of my cheeks are. So we're gonna do some right there. I feel like it got like a little lower than I wanted it to. I'm gonna take what's left on my foundation brush and kind of like blend up underneath. I feel like my camera is like, what is happening? Why are you trying to paint yourself in grayscale? Hi, Riot. What are you doing, babe? Do you need to go outside? Be right back. I like it. I think Concrete is the right move. I think Omen from Ritual de Fille is has too much pinky red in it for it to work for this. I do think I want it more visible. Like, I'm gonna just build it up slowly until I get it to a point where I feel like it's both blended, but also kind of visible. Like, I just think that, like, I think that that's kind of like the vibe of what I'm trying to do. I am kind of blending a little bit too far out, but we can always clean that up. Yeah, I probably honestly, in reality, could use Concrete as just a contour on the regular, and I don't think it would look too weird, especially like super diffused out. I'm gonna also sculpt out my chin with it. But I'm gonna leave this more blended than I left out the cheeks. Although the cheeks are all pretty blended. Not pretty blended. I might go in with a powder and not clean them up, but like deepen it a little bit. I wonder how many people that are coming to this event are gonna pay to have their makeup done. Probably a couple at least. And I do want those makeup artists to make that sale, honey. I'm just gonna take what's ever like left up here around the perimeter of my forehead. I'm gonna add a little more contour after I've powdered my face. But I'm gonna do something I don't often do. I am gonna like clean up under this contour just because it is gray. I think it's like, it's looking just like a little bit muddy, and I want it to look a little bit more separated than it's looking compared to the chin, if that makes sense. But I don't want to like draw a cut on. I just kind of want it to be kind of diffused. You'll see a lot of drag performers do that. Like, it's to cut the cheek, they'll do that in drag. I just felt like it was kind of looking like everything was connected there down, and I want there to be a more definition. Yeah, we're gonna definitely go in with a powder. That's it as far as like the base makeup. Like, I'm not doing more than that. Okay, let me get that powder out of my declutter bin. I need to wash a powder puff before. I am going to, unlike like on a normal day of makeup, I'm going to powder a lot more. And I am going to only be pressing it in. It's going to give me a more airbrush look, more event kind of look for my makeup, more coverage. Especially since this powder is just a rice starch powder, instead of being like a talc powder, which I tend to like a little bit more. And I know we all know the power of powder, but I am powdering one half of my face first. Especially on camera, powder does like magical things. Not only does it mattify the skin, but it also makes you look like your skin is perfect. I do think that this powder also has a little bit of color to it. It's like definitely adding, at this amount that I'm putting on, like a little bit of coverage. And I don't feel like my skin is looking as vibrant as it did where powdered. I'm going to detail work the rest of my face with this fluffy brush. So I'm going to start with the shade Slate, which is one of the shades I actually put on my eyes. And we're going to start carving the face a little bit more. You can definitely see the groundwork I laid with concrete, but I'm looking for some more because it's just so, as someone who wears makeup very regularly and oftentimes there's like multiple products on my cheek, it just kind of feels like my face looks really blank without blush on it, at least. And I used to not wear blush really at all. So it's kind of funny that that's how that's working out. I'm just going like over where I had concrete. And then I'm going to go one shade darker in the shade Artifact in this palette. And I'm going to keep it on, like, for lack of a better term, the back half of the contour to deepen it. Ooh, that was too deep. And I'm gonna probably dip back and forth between that and the lightest shade of gray in that row. I forgot that these are eyeshadows for a second. That's a little too gray. It's a little too much for me. I'm gonna go over it with the powder. I like where we landed, but that was really scary for a second, and that is why I wanted to do this on camera first. Well, not on camera first. This is why I wanted to do it before I actually did it for the evening. Artifact is too deep, and I know that now. So I'm gonna go in with Slate, which was the one I started with. And like this is just like a little too light. So what I'm hoping to avoid on this side is what I did on the other side. So I'm gonna take my brush, I'm going to tap into Slate and Ash twice each. I just feel like the rest of my face isn't like light enough for this to like work the way I want it to. If that makes any sense to anyone viewing at home. We're gonna try some things. Okay, there's a white shade in here called Calcified. And I'm gonna put that on the high points of my cheeks as if it, you know, like a white matte highlighter. Highlighting my beautiful blemish. What if I took it down here as well? I'm having a thought. I'm now wondering if I like commit to the bit and dust this a little bit like all over the rest of my face to give it, remember I was talking about like maybe potentially adding a little bit of gray into my foundation. I don't want it to be as stark as it is on my cheeks. I'm going in to the top corner of my head, with the shade Slate, kind of doing contour on contour there. I think this is doing what I want it to. It's just like kind of weird looking. I think yeah. And I think the only thing is like around my eyebrows, I do like kind of like get into the nooks and crannies of my face. It's like I started this idea and like now I'm this far in it and I'm like still like a little bit confused about how I feel about it. I would have to do it to my ears too. Before I move on to my lips, I think what I want to do is spray my face with the 16-hour setting spray from the SpongeBob collab. But I'm also going to use a second setting spray. I'll explain in a second. But we'll get this one going. So what I really want this one to do is to kind of melt all of the powders I have on my face in. Because I think if I didn't do this one first, my skin would look really cakey with the other setting spray I'm planning on using. I'm gonna take off like the lip oil and then we'll come back and we'll do the lip and then we'll do the final setting spray. I think that was the right move. I feel like on camera, it's like reading a little more organic. When I say organic, what I mean is like, it's looking, as far as I can tell in my monitor, it does look like it's like a little more melded than I feel like it looks IRL, but it's giving grayscale, it's giving death. Death becomes her. Her becomes death. If you follow me on Instagram, this is what I was doing my call to action as far as like a liquid lip product. A lot of people had recommended the Maybelline Color Matte Lip Stay. And then there was Sunset Makeup was another one that was recommended a lot, which is a brand I never heard of. Is it a makeup artist brand? I don't really like a makeup artist makeup brand, like for makeup artists. I ended up buying this from BLENDBUNNY. It's the Masterclass by Jordan Liberty Rated R liner, which I think you can use on your eyes as well. I forgot to put on mascara. It's like once there's that much black around your eyes, it's like, do I need mascara? But I also am considering doing a lash. Just gonna do my whole lip in this because I'm hoping, because it's a lip liner, it will have great longevity, and that's mostly it. Great longevity and not super transfery. I feel like what no one ever tells you is that like lip liner all over the lips is kind of uncomfortable. It's not making my teeth look terribly yellow. I wonder if there's blue in this black, which is not a problem, especially around your mouth. I'm feeling the fantasy. Are you? Okay, I'm gonna put on mascara. Doesn't really matter what mascara I'm using because you're not really gonna be able to see it. I'm gonna take a bit of this Surratt Lumi, I don't know, it's like a highlighting the inner light baton, and I am gonna do a little of this. The only bit of a little bit of sparkle, just to also brighten my inner corner a little bit. My eyes are kind of small. We'll just add a little bit of something. And I just feel like it kind of draws your eyes right into the center of my face, which I think is great. So, finally, what I'm finishing off here with is this from Kajal. This is the fixing spray. So I had the Mayron setting spray, but a lot of people told me that this one's better. I've used this one a couple of times and it works very well. This is my first ever like aerosol setting spray. It's crazy. I'm gonna do it facing away. Yeah, okay. Okay. I sweat a lot, and I know I'm going to sweat at this event, and having that is going to just like truly lock everything in. This setting spray is not for every day. This is like the kind of setting spray you would want to use like for an occasion. So this is not something you'll see me like use really often on the channel, but for the purposes of what I'm getting ready, quote unquote, getting ready for in this video, it's going to be necessary for the event. I'm just going to brush out my hair really quick and then we'll like kind of review to see if there's anything I really want to change. It's giving a little goth. Maybe I should have looked at some goth pictures. Although she paints her face entirely white, which I didn't want to do. So I'm not 100% convinced about like putting the white powder all over my face. I think it did what I wanted it to. I just, it feels like a lot. And I'm not going to do it down here. So there will be a disconnect going up to my face. I don't know that I really care about that because it is kind of like Hunty Slay. I fear I like it. I'm feeling pretty. Yeah, I think I like the matte black eye. I think it looks really good. I will see if I go for the inner light baton. I do like it, but I think there's like a little blue in the shimmer and it's like not going with the whole kind of grayscale thing. I just washed my hair today and so I hate my bangs when I freshly wash my hair. It's like a counterintuitive thing. Most people like love their bangs when they freshly wash their hair, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think it came together. So that's it. That's the video. Thank you for, you know, walking through this process with me. I'm not really looking for like feedback on the look. You don't have to like it. It's more about like me and what I'm trying to do with this look. Also, just keep in mind if you are goth, it was meant to be like goth inspired. It wasn't meant to be like an dead on goth look. So if it's not like 100% goth, no worries. That's okay. We're all gonna be fine. And I will have a pinned comment. In that comment will be links to support people who need your help right now, specifically people in Gaza. There's other links to support other people in other places, but just highlighting the people in Gaza first and foremost. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. If you would like to support me further, you can do that, but no pressure. All patrons at any level get the same thing. It's one extra video a month. And, you know, I do like some additional stuff, but you know, it's mostly like you have to think about it more ways. Like, I really like what Tom does. I want to support them. That is the way to do it. Or you can share my content, like my content, leave me a little comment down below. That's another great way to help me. And I think that's all I have left to say about this. Remember to follow your haute and you'll find me. And I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. 'Tis out.